Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few. Winston Churchill. September 1st, 1939. The world held its breath. A thunderous storm of steel and fire swept across Poland. Tanks surged forward. Skies blackened with German bombers. Blitzkrieg had begun. And so had the deadliest war in human history. World War II wasn't just a war of nations, it was a clash of ideologies, of empires, of destinies. It reached every continent, pulled in over 30 countries, and involved more than 100 million people. Today we uncover how this war began, how it changed the world, and why its lessons still echo through our lives. The roots of World War II were planted in the ashes of World War I. The Treaty of Versailles, signed in 1919, was meant to bring peace. Instead, it imposed crushing reparations and humiliating terms on Germany. The nation's pride was shattered, its economy crippled. People waited in bread lines as inflation devoured their savings. Across Germany, a question festered: who will restore our honor? Enter Adolf Hitler, charismatic, dangerous. He promised revival of jobs, pride, and power. His Nazi party rose on waves of desperation, and across the world similar forces were brewing. In Italy, Benito Mussolini rallied under the black banner of fascism, dreaming of a reborn Roman Empire. In Japan, military leaders sought to expand their empire across Asia, believing conquest was destiny. 3 nations, 3 ideologies. One growing storm. Germany's first move? Rearmament. Quiet at first, then defiant. Hitler tore up the Versailles restrictions and built a war machine. Next came the land grabs, the Rhineland, Austria, Czechoslovakia, each swallowed without a fight. The world watched, hesitated, and did nothing. And then came Poland. On September 1st, 1939, German tanks rolled across the Polish border. Blitzkrieg unleashed devastation with speed never seen before. Within weeks, Poland was conquered. 2 days later, Britain and France declared war. The world could no longer look away. What followed was swift and terrifying. 1940, Denmark, Norway, the Netherlands, Belgium, France, each crushed in rapid succession. Hitler's tactics were surgical: shock, overwhelm, repeat. France, one of Europe's great powers, fell in just 6 weeks. Only Britain remained defiant, standing alone against the Axis onslaught. Skies above England filled with fire as the Battle of Britain began. German bombers rained destruction across London, but British pilots, young, outnumbered, determined, held the line. For the first time, Hitler had been stopped. But this was only the beginning. While Europe burned, Japan turned its sights to the Pacific. Driven by a hunger for dominance and resources, Japan invaded China and seized territories across Southeast Asia. Then, on December 7th, 1941, came the attack that changed everything. Pearl Harbor. Explosions rocked the U.S. Pacific Fleet. Battleships burned, thousands were killed. America's isolation ended in fire and fury. President Roosevelt called it a date which will live in infamy. And it was. The United States declared war. Germany and Italy declared war on the U.S. in response. The conflict had now become truly global. Allied against the Axis stood a new coalition: the U.S., Great Britain, the Soviet Union, China, and resistance fighters across occupied lands. It was a war of survival, a war for the soul of the world. By 1942, the war reached its boiling point. On the Eastern Front, the Soviet Union endured the unimaginable. Cities like Leningrad and Stalingrad became hellscapes of siege and slaughter. But the Soviets did not break. They bled, they fought, and they began to push back North Africa. Allied forces clashed with Axis troops in brutal desert battles. In the Pacific, the Battle of Midway turned the tide. U.S. forces sank 4 Japanese carriers, crippling Japan's naval strength. It was a pivotal moment. Day by step, the Allies began reclaiming lost ground. Italy fell. France was liberated after the Normandy landings. Day, June 6th, 1944, when 86,000 Allied troops stormed the beaches under gunfire and storm clouds. The war was turning, but the cost was staggering. By 1945, Germany was collapsing. The Soviet army surged west. American and British forces advanced from the west. Hitler, cornered in a Berlin bunker, took his own life. On May 8th, 1945, Victory in Europe Day. The war in Europe ended. But in the Pacific, it raged on. Fierce battles at Iwo Jima and Okinawa showed Japan's refusal to surrender. The cost in lives was astronomical. U.S. leaders feared a mainland invasion would be even worse. Then came Hiroshima, then Nagasaki, 2 atomic bombs, unimaginable destruction. In August 1945, Japan surrendered. The war was over. World War II reshaped the world. It left cities in ashes. It ended empires, created new powers, most notably the United States and the Soviet Union, whose rivalry would define the next half-century, the Cold War. But it also birthed the United Nations, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and a global vow never again. Over 70 million lives were lost. Soldiers, civilians, children. The Holocaust revealed the darkest depths of humanity. The trauma echoes across generations. And yet, from the ruins rose resilience, rebuilding, reckoning. Today, we remember not just to honor the fallen, but to guard the future. Because the lessons of World War II are not history alone. They are a warning. What happens when hate goes unchecked? What happens when good people stay silent? The past lives in us, shaping our choices and our world. What stories do we tell ourselves about power, peace, and people different from us?
Thank you for watching and listening to History of World War II Explained. If you enjoyed this journey through history, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment to support the channel Memories and Now.